you guys the handouts from before. I don't know if I have enough copies now, but we'll see. So, alright. So yeah, I guess I only have one set of old copies. So I don't know who wants it right now. But you already have all the.
I'm not sure.
Yep.
It's from that website,
Yep.
byzantinechange.org.
You what, please?
There you go. Or people can share too at the moment.
Okay.
Oh, I've
Do I
got
have
two.
the same stuff as you, or what?
June 24th. Well, that's coming down. I've got copies of the Nativity of St. John the Baptist, June 24th. Are you taking these back in, or?
No. I mean, we'll just keep. You guys can keep them.
I think all that John is.
I'll hang on to it for
set.
next June 24th.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's a lot.
Yeah, but we'll look through some of those things, and see what we can do.
Just a cheat sheet. We'll share that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Let's see.
Exercises.
So I can explain what you have there, and for some reason this is not allowing me to print project anything. That's weird. So what you have there is essentially a Byzantine manual, and then you have a bunch of little, like a cheat sheet, and then there's little exercises and more exercises and more exercises and things like that. And I don't have the scale chart, but that's really complicated, so it doesn't really matter. And this is a new thing from today, and I do have enough. Yeah, I have enough copies of this.
Welcome. Comes to
Yeah,
four
I don't know
legs.
if we.
Select.
Yeah. And yeah, and then this is the other thing to hand out for today. This will kind of be our larger project.
Review. Review. Review.
Yeah. And I'll try and get this to get up on the screen in a minute. But I guess for all you guys' sake, I'll try and rehash some things, and then see where to go. Alright. And for some reason I can't project my screen, but I'll fix that at some point. So I don't rely on at least you guys to answer all the questions that I pose. So
Me.
Yeah, that's our first thing. Look at the scale.
Boo.
Oh, you started too high, dude.
Okay. Give me a bouncy C. Casoni.
Okay. Yeah, so our scale.
I need my tuning fork.
Is That's just the scale that we've been working on. Just instead of do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, si, do, the Byzantines use the same type of scale, except instead of the way that we do A, B, C, D, E, F, G, they used alpha, beta, gamma, and then made them syllables so that they could actually make something to say, because alpha is not really a syllable. And then the thing that we looked at was all sorts of ways to go up and down and to jump. And so there's 10 symbols that you combine in mathematical ways to go up and down. And so this one, just as a reminder for this guy, Isan, and that means
Stay the same.
stay the same, don't go anywhere. And then this guy,
Oligon.
and
Plus
he goes
one.
+1. Okay, what about this guy? See, he's +2.
Jump up 2 notes.
Up 2, yeah.
Polygon with a
Cantima.
Yeah, cantima. And then this one is +3. And then this guy with the ipsidi is +4. And then this guy is +5, another ipsidi. And this was just 1, this one represents 2, so this is 1, 2, this is 2 plus 1, this is up 4, and then this is 4 plus 1, up 5. And then I'll just go down and we can fill in the rest of them there. But then we also have this guy, right?
Apostrophe.
Apostrophe, yeah. And -1, this guy.
Mouse.
And that's one.
Thanks.
-2. And then we add, you know, -2 and -1 by that, and we get -3. And then we have a new one,
Match here.
-4.
Looks like a 4.
Yep, kind of. And then if we want to get 5, we just add 4 plus 1. So -5. And then -6. So now we just start adding things. So that's our ups and downs. And then we also had this guy.
Flutter. Up
Yeah, he's
one
our
with a flutter.
FSD, our up one with a flutter. And then we had this guy,
Centimeta.
Kendimata, and he's just our up one and you slur up there. So that's all the symbols we've learned so far. Now, what if I have this guy and I put a little sideways apostrophe on him, our plasma.
Hold for 2.
Yeah, so this becomes 2 beats. Okay, and then the same thing if I had a dot underneath him, he's also now 2 beats. I mean the same thing. And then, let's see, the other thing we learned how to rest was our stress for the dot next to him. So we're stressing time, which is a rest. And then, that's most of the symbols we learned except for last week.
The breath.
The breath, yes. Our little cross is our breath mark. That's pretty much, except for the new rhythmic stuff that we learned last week, I think that's pretty much everything that we learned, right?
Probably.
Yeah. And then the only other thing, I think.
Other than the +6 and +7.
Yeah, +6 and +7. So the only other thing I think that we introduced was the fact that if we can start combining symbols, so instead of writing something like this, we could write it on top of each other and read bottom up. So these two mean the same thing. And then we could also go, instead of reading them like this, we could also do the same thing and combine them. Still reading bottom up, but now we see this one first. So we combine symbols. And similarly, we can start combining this, and we can say they're on the same syllable, so we just kind of bar them together with a little line, and anything going down, we can bar them together. Any of those, just bar them together. Yeah, that's probably way too much, but for just as a little background on that. And then the last thing we learned, do you guys remember how rhythm works?
The rhythm?
Yeah.
Sort of.
The whole retroactive. You want me to
So
go
you
re-go
have
over it?
the half and half, which is the one step.
Gordon.
And then you
Yeah,
add
that
a
goes
step
on.
and that means it's a triplet, I think,
So yeah. So if we have this,
of the previous.
so we'll say we start on ni, so I'll put a little N there. So this is ni pa, stay the same, go up one, and we'll put up one more. So it's ni pa fu. So ni pa fu. And then, so this is just one beat, one beat, one beat. If I do this, now this takes a half a beat off this guy and a half a beat off the previous one. So this is 1/2, and this is 1/2. So instead of being ni pa vu, this is ni pa vu. And then, like you were saying with triplets, is that if we do the same thing, instead we add another little step to it. Now instead of being 1 divided into 2, taking off a half from everybody, we have 2 divided into 3, so we take 2/3 off of everybody. So this becomes a third, a third, a third. So this is still ni pa vu, but now it's instead of ni pa vu or ni pa vu, this is ni pa vu, 1 triplet. So if I did this, it'd be ni pa vu ga, 1 triplet ga. And then, to make it even furtherly complicated, if I have that still, and I add one more step, now we have 16th notes. We had 8 notes, triplets, 16th notes, so this is 3 and 4, and so this is 1/4, 1/4, 1/4, and 1/4. And so I mentioned last week that we only go one ahead, one before. So all of these go one note prior, but they essentially extend until you make one full unit. So this all adds up to one beat, one beat, one beat. So this is ni pa vo ga, wani and so, and if you have that ni pa vo ga ni. Does that make sense in a nutshell? All the
that helps solidify what we learned last week.
yeah, and then I don't think it complicates things, but if I did something like this, I think this is where we kind of left off last week, is that this is 2 beats, but it's not really 2 beats because he gets a half taken off of him because of this guy. So 1/2 is taken off here, and this is 1 and 1/2. So mi pa vo, and the same thing happens with these except the triplet variations. So. Does that make sense? I don't know if it'll make sense at all to you.
Is this your 3rd lesson or 4th from the beginners?
No, this is
4.
Is this 4? Really? Wow. That's it. That's all. I thought it was more. Okay. Yeah, but all of them are up online, so it's they're all recorded. So yeah, so that's rhythm, and we might get into some new rhythm, and just work on some jumps and see where we go today. And the other thing that I gave out is, so I gave out 2 things. One of them being an extra page of what I had written out so far. So exercise 46 and 47, and we can look through those, and 48. And then the third mode, brief, and that is essentially a longer project which I'd like us to kind of work on. And essentially that's our something that we can sit down and go note by note and make sure that we know what we're looking at, and so we can essentially go note by note and see where the rhythm goes in and everything like that. So any questions before we move on? I can back up way far for you guys if you like.
You shouldn't back up because they've been here and we just came.
No problem. I mean,
so we will, I'll look at the ones online and try to erase everything about Western notation that I know.
So to give you a little understanding, I guess with Western notation, a lot of things are, I don't want to say backwards, but they're different fashion. So that it's one line of music, so that it's just all a symbolic notation, 1 line of music, 1 line of words, and the notation, which I'm not sure if it's helpful for you guys, but the notation is not absolute. It doesn't tell you where you are, but it tells you where you're going. So it tells you jump up 2. No matter where you are in the scale, just jump up 2. So if you're, like for example, if you're on a C, it says jump up 2 notes. It doesn't tell you to go to E. So it's kind of this relative based upon your knowledge and your ear and your just how you know how to sing things, then it tells you where to go.
But isn't it true that, in other words, one jump in this is the same as the second in Western notation? I mean, don't you have different intervals in different places? And
that's the reason I've kind of gone a way of saying a second or a third or a fourth, because the scale is different, and so then sometimes it's not really a fourth, or it's a different type of fourth, and it's not always the right type of fourth. So if you say jump up 3 notes, it's going to be correct in all circumstances.
But when you say 3 notes, that 3 notes in Western notation might be a third and then a half step or something like that, or a half step and then.
Would it be the equivalent of like a diminished or an augmented?
Yeah, okay. It could be anything, because I think we were seeing one of the last things that we sang in terms of jumps. It was ni pa vo ga ni ga ni ga ni ga ni pa vo ga di pa di pa di pa di pa vo. So most of those are the same until you get to vo ga di ke zo ga zo ga zo ga zo ga di. That one is a weird interval, but it still is represented by the same symbol. So that's where It's just your knowledge of the scale and kind of a relative. Just you're on ga, so you count 1, 2, 3, and then you know where you're gonna go from there. And then the rhythm, same deal where it works backwards. This retroactive, and how it's written. You're not actually writing new symbols. You're just changing the symbols based upon what's on top of them. So, but yeah.
Okay.
So, all right. So can we go to, you have the thick manual? Yeah. So, and we'll do a few things in there and then we'll keep moving on.
Which page?
Let's go to probably towards the last page. Let me see where I went.
You put right over that page. No, it's not close to last.
Let's go to page 24. There's exercise number 45.
45, okay.
Yep. And I think this is what I was just talking about. So we'll sing through this one, and just to back up, just to explain, we have stay the same in this whole symbol set. So stay the same, up 1, up 1, up 1, and then you jump back down 3 notes, back to where we started, and then you jump up 3 notes. And that's where that little cheat sheet with all the little symbols comes in to help out. So everything from jumping is pretty much in there. So number 45. So if that's our ni, Allah, la 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 Nice. Any questions there on that one? All right. So, the next one, 46. I don't know if we actually did 46.
No, because we only had the first two.
There's only 2 thingies.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
Cool. So then go to the next page.
now I get to see the whole
Yeah.
thing.
So 46. Yeah. So this one is when you replace
Yes.
the bottom part of that symbol. So we saw that we had, let's see, my eraser. So this is the kind of the rule with a lot of these symbols, is that these two mean essentially the same thing. You have your oligon, which means go up 1, and you have your petasti, which also means go up 1, but this one's stressed and is fluttered if there's time. So the na. So if I do something like this means go up 3. So 2 plus 1. If I do this, it's still 2 plus 1, but now it's stressed and fluttered. So the same thing, if I do something like this, that's plus 4. And if I just replace the bottom, now it's plus 4, but fluttered and stressed. So the same, in general, you can always replace the oligon with a petasti and make it something that's stressed or fluttered. The only contrast to that is +2, which is, this is either like this or the other one, which is the one where it's beneath. To do that, you have this. They just add together. So it's just 1 and 1, and because there's a +D there, that just means up to with a flutter. So, assume it's King's.
Yes. Late arrival.
Yep. So, 46 is your up 3. So we have ni, ga, ni, pa. That's just your up 3, your down 3, and then your up 1.
Are we gonna need tablet? No.
At some point we will, but I think for the moment it'd be more difficult to, you'd be focusing too much on the note names. So number 46.
Do you want to write it?
Yeah. So nea, yeah, that's our ni on la. La, 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 Cool. And it's at that end where in the previous one we saw that they kind of changed the pattern a little bit. Here they do the same thing where we go from ke, pa, ni, zo, ni. Just that down 1, and then up 1 with the hold. So, keep moving on. How does that feel? Feel comfortable with that?
It feels fun.
Good. So, 47 is the one I was talking about last week that I wrote it out with words. So, this one, we'll just walk through all the symbols and just say how everything goes. And then we'll do it on La, and then we'll sing it with the words. So, on Lord, our first note is Ga, even though we start with Ni. So, up 3, up 1, stay the same. Up 1 with a flutter, down 1, stay the same. Then we go down 3 on Wei. Then we go up 1, and that's slurred to the previous note. Then stay the same, and then down 2, up 1 on Prez, and then down 2 with a hold on Ents. Then we have our rest on the next line, stay the same, up 2, up 1 on Well, up 1 on Pleased, down 1, stay the same, up 1, all slurred together, stay the same, down 2, up 1 with a hold, and then we should be on the. And then down 3, up 1, down 1, up 1 together, and then down 2 to finish on Shun of Resurrection. And this hymn is specifically taken from Tonate Vespers, and this is a simpler melody just because you don't know all the symbols, or this is not using all the symbols, just up to up 3, so and no rhythm. So number.
There's no rhythm.
No rhythm in this one, except for the holds. No fast rhythms. So, just to make it simple. So number 47. Let's do it on La, and then we'll do it on words. So ni.
Wait, we're starting on ni? I thought we're starting on.
No way to go.
We always move from some sort of basis note. So our basis note here is ni, and then we move from there.
So we start on the word at.
Ga.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the reason for that is because all the tones have some sort of bottom basis note that you always return to.
Okay.
You start there and you go from there and then you return there, and that's where your Isan, your drone part, is singing, some sort of drew in based on that. So because everything is based off of this structural bottom, then you jump from that. It's not that you just start on a note. They wouldn't just write ga and tell you to start from there because the tone is based off of ni.
Right.
You know, so that's your grounding is on ni. So everything is a jumping point from that note. So if that's our ni and la, 1, 2, la 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 rest. La 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 la. How's that feel?
Like I'm reading Western notation with a fourth.
Well, I mean, like, does it seem
In other words,
clear?
it's difficult for me to. It has nothing to do with what's written. It's more in my head. How far do I go?
Do you want to write?
What I have trouble with is, aside from all of it,
Yeah.
but well, let me hear. Well, when I hear words instead of just syllables, that'll help a lot because I mean, I'm
Sure.
familiar enough with these either, and I'm wondering why. If this is up one note, how is it this is up 3 notes? I just have to.
I think that'll be good to just go over again, just for the sake of everybody.
Well, go ahead and do this. Do 47. It's just as good for me just to see what you're doing and compare it to what I'm looking at.
Sure. Would it help you guys to write in the note names, or is that not helpful at all? To know, like, to go like ga di di ka di di ka bu bu di
Yeah,
ka
well,
bu
yeah, it
di.
would help me to do it, but then it won't help me to learn it. That's the problem. I need to just practice, and that's my.
That's good. That's okay. Well, can we write in the note names underneath them? If you have a pencil.
I'd rather just sing the note names instead of doing la.
Okay. Okay, let's do it. Ni ga di di ka di pa vu ni pa vu ni vu ga di ka di ka ga di pa vu ga vu pa vu ni. All right, that seemed fine. Let's do it with the words. Lord, oh Lord, cast us not away from thy presence, but be well pleased to have
bewildered.
No, actually, something, I discovered something, listening to that.
Mhm.
Like I see that this is moving up within the same word. And
Mhm.
I learned that.
Yeah. Yeah. And then you have all the little sideways candy canes. Those are all your stay the sames.
Yeah.
So whenever you see that, just say, Lord, oh Lord, cast us not away from.
Yeah, see, that's gonna. I
It's gonna
just
take a
have to
little.
learn these symbols.
Yeah.
But you're still using a Western scale here?
Right now, yeah.
Okay.
It isn't a Western scale, but right now we're just singing that.
I mean, it sounds
Yeah.
Western.
When I think in the first lesson I demonstrated just very briefly where instead of being Ni pavugadi, for this it would be Ni pavugadi, just slightly pulled down.
I didn't hear that.
Ni
It's very
pavugadi.
subtle.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds
Here,
like.
can I get
didn't
you?
hear it the first time you said it.
Can I get you guys to hold a note for me, to hold a drone?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so go oh, and just keep it going. So if I were to go oh, that's regular, and you can be louder. So now I'll do the other one.
I don't hear it.
So some of it's ear training, and some of it's. You want me to do it again, or it might just be a matter of time?
It sounded like you were trying to do
It
something.
So let me.
I couldn't hear the difference though. It sounded like a regular C to G thing.
Yeah, yeah. Well, so do the O again. Oh. So I'll do three different things, and just keep going. Oh. Oh. That's a major third. Oh. Minor third. Oh. It's not fully up.
Teeny flat.
Yeah, it's a third flat. So oh.
So see, we'd have da 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 or da da da, or so this is
Somewhere in the middle. It's
wow!
It's somewhere in the middle.
When you get home, download some Serbian pop music, and
Yeah.
they sing like this with the flutters and the sliding quarter tones.
Yeah. And what
a lot of synthesizers.
What I did for the advanced class, the intermediate class, was I was saying if it's, let's say, ni pavu, so if I go up there, what we did was if you can slide between it, there's other notes in there. So
yeah, I mean there are.
So it's just a matter of being able to hit on one of those notes.
Wow, that would make a Lenny go.
Oh yeah, and it's a difficult thing, and that's where
it is hard.
when I used to listen to recordings, I would just put them into a box and say, oh, they're singing this interval, and then eventually now I listen, I'm like, they're not singing that interval at all. They're singing a different interval. I just never could hear it, and now I can hear it, and every so often I get lucky and I can sing it. So, but it's still it's an ear training thing and it's a vocal training thing that if you grow up with it, it's easy.
Yeah.
Like some of my Arab friends who grew up, their father played the oud and all sorts of things. They can sing these other intervals because that's Arab music is based on those intervals.
Yeah, right.
It's just part of their culture. It's not part of our culture.
Yeah.
Our culture of auto tune and everything else. So, but yeah.
Okay. It's interesting.
Okay, so let's do that one again. Lord, oh Lord. Lord, oh Lord, cast us not away from thy presence. So, what I like to do, instead of 48, I like to go to the Greek packet that you have. It's another packet, which it kind of helps finish these out. But this is where we go into the rhythm things. And this should be simpler stuff, but the rhythm's the new thing. So hopefully that'll be good.
What packet are we talking about here?
The one that's all in Greek.
18.
Yeah, the one that starts with page 18 at the
that
top.
one.
Yeah.
Stigmata.
So if anyone else, I have more of these. If anyone needs any.
Oh,
Yeah.
these ladies. Use
Do
one.
you need one? Yep. So, do you need another one or? Okay.
Good, thanks.
Okay. So, if you go instead of page 18, go to, let's see, exercise. Let's see. We're looking at 61.
61.
Yep. And this is what eventually I'll write these all in English. I'm working on it. Okay. So 61. This we're not using any jumps. This is all just rhythm. So the first measure here in 61, all this is in duple meter. So 1 2 1 2. So we have 2 beats per measure, and the first one is all ison. It's all just stay the same. The second one is up 1 followed by a bunch of stay the same, and then up 1 bunch of stay the same, down 1 a bunch of stay the same, down 1 a bunch of stay the same, down 1, up 1, and that one has a hold on him for a second beat. But because we have all these little gorgons, all these little angle brackets, then every one that it sits on has a half a beat taken away, like we were saying, and the previous one has a half a beat taken away. So instead of 61 being ni 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 ni, it's ni 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 pa 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 vu 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 vu. So it just goes 1 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and. So we'll go through a bunch of these just to practice this. So any questions before we do 61? All right. Can we do it on ni pa vu? Because we're only going ni pa vu pa ni zo ni. So we're not going too terribly far, but we'll go back to la in a minute. So number 61. 1 2 ni 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 pa 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 vu 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 pa 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 ni 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 zo ni. Yep.
So if you go down 1 from ni, it's what?
It goes to the zo.
So,
Mhm.
okay.
Yeah, so we just repeat down the scale.
Okay.
And the little, I was telling, what does the apostrophe mean to those who are in the know?
Or down 1.
What?
Down 1.
Whoa, the apostrophe up there.
Oh, it means
the
an
high
octave
end.
higher, sorry.
Yep, octave higher. Yeah, so if you see an apostrophe, it means instead of ni, it's ni.
Okay.
That one.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and that's, if you look at these, there's little Greek letters throughout the music, like before, like right next to 61, there's a little Greek letter, nu,
Yeah.
and that says, that's your ni, that's the Greek letter for ni.
Okay.
And then the little one that looks like a B at the end of that line is your vu, because they pronounce B's like V's, just to confuse the situation. So, 61 cool, can we go on to 62? So this one should be fairly straightforward. We're just going straight up and down the scale, just a little faster. So we have stay the same, and then up, 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 and then down, 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 all the way down. So let's go through it. We'll just do it on la, unless you want to do ni pa vu. I'm fine with either.
Let's do ni pa vu.
All right, you get it. So ni 1 and 2. Ni pa vu ga li ke zo ni pa ni zo ke li ga vu pa ni zo ni. straightforward. You didn't like it? what, anything? Can you articulate your dislike?
Well, it's just me though. I'm basically just kind of following the group.
The Gorgons, all those little.
Well, yeah, just trying to get it. No, I'm fine.
Do you want me to write it out on the board, or?
No, I think it's okay. I mean,
Okay.
I have a question.
Sure.
This, like, if we were, in what I know, these are like eighth notes, right?
Yep.
But you sang that like a half note.
Quarter. So if it's ni pa vu ga ni ke zo ni pa ni zo ke di ga vu pa ni zo ni.
Oh, I see. Okay, gotcha.
But we just did it pretty slowly.
Okay.
So it really gets excruciating, especially when you do other things where it's like ni zo. Like when we get into triplets and 16th notes, you need to slow it down a lot, and those quarter notes get really excruciatingly long. But does that?
Yeah, I see. I listened to it.
Okay.
Wrong. Okay.
So okay. So let's do. Do you want to do 62 again, Candace, or would that be helpful?
Well, I'm gonna be the slow one in the group.
Well, let's do 63 and see if that helps. If that helps clarify.
It's a beginner's class.
Yep.
It's Monday night. So
Yeah.
Worry even less.
Yeah. We're meant to go slower. So let's do 63 and see if that clarifies it, and if it doesn't, we'll go back to 62. So, can anyone tell me what's going on in 63? What's our rhythm? And you can say ups and downs too if you want. So the first one, how many beats is our?
The first one is 1 beat and then a half and a half.
Okay. Does anyone else agree?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. And then
And then it's the same pattern.
Yep.
The holds.
Yeah, we have the hold right after that. So this is ni pa 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 vu vu vu. Now, before we sing it, go to 64. What's different?
Ooh, you have a triplet there.
No.
A third and a third and a
Nope. It's still the same symbol.
Oh, okay, never mind.
It's just
it's just over one.
So instead of it being 1, 2, and 1,
It's
2.
bum 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 bum.
Yep, it's 1 and 2, 1, 2. So the rhythm is on the first part of the measure, this little grouping, instead of the first of 63, where it's on the second part of the measure. So
Okay.
does that kind of clarify?
I'm starting to get it a little
Okay.
bit. Yeah, I see how it is.
And all we have here is we have our up ones and our down ones. Nothing fancy. So, and our stay the same. So let's do 63. Let's do it on La, just because I'd like to focus on the rhythm. And Nipavu is not too terribly difficult here, but we'll do it on La. So La 1 and 2 and La 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 la. Now watch out. La 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 la.
I feel like I'm lullabying myself to sleep.
Well, if you have small children, this is a good exercise to do with them. And at the end of the second line, you guys all sang it wonderfully, but sometimes people look at the last symbol, the apostrophos, that little apostrophe, and there's a gorgon on top of him, that little bracket guy. It's just kind of not a really good reproduction there, and not a good scan. So everyone see what I'm talking about? The end of the second line in 63. There's kind of like a.
Oh, there is a
line on top of
gorgon
the
there.
thing that goes like that.
There's a gorgonzola there.
And the second, that guy.
Oh, on this end of the second line.
Yeah, so 63.
It's
Oh,
not
Yeah,
okay.
there's a gorgon right on top
You
of that
could have
guy.
let us know that
And that
before.
means
I
what now
forgot.
again?
That's the half. That's the same one that we were having. The half. You take a half beat.
But we did it right anyway.
Yeah, you did it right anyway. It was the pattern. Everyone else see what I'm talking about? At the end
Oh,
of
I got it, got it.
Yep.
Got it.
It's just that it's
Okay.
kind of it's a little
It didn't- okay.
erased. So every so often that happens, and I will try and let you know in the future. 64. Let's do 64. So this is our la 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 la. So Candace, is this clear? Is this helpful?
It was fine.
But, okay.
Mm,
So 64. That'll be only 1 and 2 and la 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 la. Watch out. La 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 la. Nice. How did that go? People feel comfortable a little bit? Is it becoming more friend than foe?
Kind of see some of this.
So, and the rhythms are later on in
Here's,
it. Yeah.
let me see. Okay, tell me again what this is.
Oh, the one on the top?
Yeah.
So if you go to, I think that it's on the third page of that, or I think I have it in there. Yeah, that's this guy.
Oh.
So he just adds.
Beat to the symbol.
That's your plasma. So he adds a beat. So that would make whatever symbol he's on 2 beats.
But if it's on, so you would never see it on a, let me think. Oh, I see, so that would be, so,
So like.
do they have anything like 3/4 time in this or something like that?
Yep.
How do you know, well maybe you're not there yet.
So.
How do you know that, like, I did this, saying this for like a whole measure only because there was this line here and this line here. But what if it were like a 3/4? How would you know? How do you know that?
So everything is always duple meter. Everything is always 1 2 1 2, unless otherwise specified. Every so often it delves into triple meter. Every so often it delves into quadruple. So 3 beats or 4 beats per those little groupings. And so what they normally do is, for certain hymns, it's all in triple meter. And then they'll say in the beginning, triple meter. You know, and then you just know from here on out, we're 1 2 3 1 2 3. And so, let's say for certain, the Psalms of Vespers, there's the big festal Vespers. Instead of saying, "Set, O Lord, a watch before my mouth," it'll be, "Set, O Lord, a watch before my mouth, and a door of one," you know, that waltzy type of thing. So they'll specifically say that, and normally they'll have your bar lines which are set in triples. If it's in the middle of music, if it's like 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 1 2, they either set it apart by bars, because in most music there's no bar lines. Here, because it's exercises, they put it out there. But most music there's none, so they'll separate a triple meter section, and oftentimes they'll write a little 3. So it might be like mi pa. So this would be mi pa 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 pa, but this would have a triplet feel. Like so, when I said to the Lord, the changing essentially the poetic structure of it. So they would separate it by either bar lines or putting a little 3 on top to tell you, okay, you got a set of 3 here, or this could be a 4, and then you just have to add another guy in there. So which I don't know. Have we looked at any of those 3s and 4s before?
I don't recall.
Okay.
No, only the gorgon.
Yeah. So that's where that comes in. Is that?
Yeah. Stop it, John. You're getting us too far ahead of ourselves. We're having a hard time concentrating as it is.
Well, we done the
Although the question I had is there anything down with the flutter, or is it always up with the flutter?
There is a down with a flutter. So in order to down with the flutter, so because what we saw is, like, let's say I have this. This is again plus 3. So if I do this plus 3 with a flutter. So if I do the same thing down 3, there's no oligon there, no bar to change. So all they do is they just put a -d beneath them. And so it wouldn't make sense to go 2 plus 1, or -2, -1, plus 1. That wouldn't make any sense to add everybody together, because why would you write like that? That's just confusing. So this guy loses all functionality in terms of up and down. He just becomes flutter. Yeah. So this just his only purpose is to stress and flutter.
Does the flutter go down or go up? The flutter part.
Same way.
That's my next bit.
So it's
Skip the note and up and back.
So like if I go mi pa vu. So this is down 1 with a flutter. Mi pa vu pa ni pa ni. Same type of flutter, but mi pa vu pa ni. And the same rule, I think, that we mentioned before, is whenever you have a petasty, you always go down after him. So no matter where the petasty is, you see him here, he still functions the same way. You will have a down symbol going after. Same if you even have a down symbol with a petasty beneath him, this little fluttered guy, you will always go down some amount. So that's your sight reading trick, is if when you see this guy, I can ignore half of the symbols. I know I'm going to go down after it. So you don't have to worry about ascending.
Is there any time that you have a down flutter?
Mm-hmm.
No, a down flutter where the flutter goes down instead of up.
No.
Oh, okay.
Oh, well, okay. So you do have things like, so you can go like, na, when the Lord said unto
Okay, so how would that be notated?
2 flutters back to back.
when, yeah. So, do you want me to show you how to write that? Or?
No.
I just asked, didn't I?
Yeah.
Are you scared? Kids are scared.
Okay, and this, what am I just saying? So I did it on,
Technically, you didn't down flutter, you just added 2 flutters.
na, right? So this is the right? From a rhythmic standpoint. So these are connected. Na. So if I do when the, okay? When the. So now this little guy, his name is syndesmos, which just means connector. I believe in Greek. It like a synonym. It's something that's the same. So these are all connected together. And what he normally does is has some sort of flutter in addition to connecting these guys. So I could go when the. But that's
So
too
basically,
complicated.
you make it up whatever you want to do.
There's a few. They're within a tradition. So there's 2 ways that I would do this. Would be when. So when, and that's your little thing there. When the, or the other way would be to do a little turnabout. When the, da, dum ba dum bum bum. Just a little circle around the note. So dum ba da bum bum dum da. So, but it's a very, it's not like I was talking to somebody and it became like when, and they like re-articulated every single thing in a very ha 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 ha. It's like it's not the dwarves, you know, like hi ho, it's off to work we go. It's not that. It's na. It's just a little. Everything's kind of connected together and slurred. It's articulated from the stomach, but it's not that type of thing. Because that's not. If you ever heard a Byzantine, I don't know what type of Byzantine person would do that, but they're too gruff and emotional to do anything like that. That'd be too restrained. So that answers your question. I don't know if it's helpful, but
No, it's
okay.
Helpful. I mean, it's just something different.
Yeah. So and there's other fluttery things, and there's other ways to flutter where instead of going na, you might go ha, like right at the beginning of a note. But a lot of those are really nuanced, and when I do it, it sounds belabored and way too much, so I just don't do them. But if you listen to it's like some of the Greek chanters or Arab chanters who've been doing this all their life, you listen, you're like, oh, they just did it. Oh, they just did. They like little. It's tiny, but it's there. And there's so many vocal undulations going on there that I can't necessarily reproduce. So
it's hard.
yeah. So it really require a lot of dedicated. I mean,
I think even to change notes within a syllable is hard.
Yeah.
You know.
So, so I mean, right now we're at 9:05, and I think we just started a few minutes late, so which was probably 8:05, give or take. Rather than so let me just talk real quick on this third mode thing, because that was the last thing. And we won't sing any of this right now, because there's no time anyway. So if you have a moment, if you don't worry about it, because we'll look at it in the future. This is just a little project that I think giving us a little long-term thing to kind of look through. So everything here, you should kind of know from the cheat sheet if you don't remember it. And there's one symbol that I haven't introduced yet, and we'll introduce that next week. And he's a fun guy, but we'll look at him. So essentially, at the beginning, Lord, I have cried unto thee. This starts on Ga. So if that's Ni Pavu Ga, and that's where right under Lord, I have cried, it says Ga in Greek letters. That's with Isan, like the drone people.
Oh, okay.
They have it written above the music.
Okay.
Everyone see that? This is kind of our. We've looked at your music once before, but the little. Oh, I just handed this out.
Oh,
yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, I forgot.
Oh,
So right above Lord, there's a little N in parentheses. That's your Isan people. So then if that's God, these some people know to go on Ni. And then on cried, they go back to Ga. That's our little Ga symbol. And then a hark, they go to Pa. So that's if you're singing Isan, that drone, you would just follow those and follow the words, but follow that and follow the rhythm. And whenever that little note above changes, then you know to change. And so what I'd like to do is as we learn things, we can kind of go through, write in the note names, and work our way through this. This is just the brief version of Lord I Have Cried from Vespers for tone 3. And a lot of the things in here, not all of them, so there's one more thing that we'll have to learn. And but it'll be our little project, kind of from a little long-term thing as opposed to little melodies. We'll look at this. So I just wanted to introduce that and say why I handed it out and what we'll be working towards. So any departing questions?
It looks like there's an up something. 4, 5, 6, 7.
That's up 6.
Up 6.
Yeah, that's 7. So that would take us from Ni, where we ended, up to, if we go up 6 notes? Zo, yeah.
Oh, sorry, Zo.
Yeah. So if that's our, so it'd be, Lord, I have cried unto thee, hearken unto me. Hearken unto me, O Lord, Lord, mi, zo. I have cried unto thee, hearken unto me. So, pretty much all the symbols here, except for, like I said, one symbol combo. But we'll get to him. So, any thoughts, questions, confusions?
Which one do we know?
It's a symbol, and I won't introduce it, except for just writing it on the board. He's like,
Oh, okay.
yeah, he means something different when they're connected like that. And that's as far as
Is
I'm.
that on? Oh.
And he's in the cheat sheet too, so you can actually look at that and figure it out.
I'm
But-
just trying to see where it is on the music.
Second
I-
page.
But
Flip
it's
N.
like where
Hearken.
the voice.
Yeah, hearken,
The voice.
Hearken.
hearken on.
Uh,
So, Lord, I have cried unto thee, hearken unto me, hearken on.
Oh, here on the end of the first line.
Right into the second line.
Go on that page on the cheat sheet.
Or on the top, yeah. Yep, or on the second page, right at the top on hearken.
Oh, Seneca Salafron.
Yep, the adjoining or connecting or continuing elafron. So, and we'll talk about how he's a historical creation. He shouldn't exist, but at some point, history, took its toll and created him. Just because people were writing things in music, and then at some point they just made it a new symbol because people were writing things in music as like helpful little helper notes. So, but yeah.
Very good.
All right.